The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to this episode of Pit Life BBQ. Gather around the pit with your hosts, Johnny Maggs, Messy Mike, and Crawdaddy Chris. Let's talk barbecue.
Hello. Welcome to Pit Life BBQ. Our second show coming live from the Studio 21 Podcast Café in beautiful Salem, New Hampshire. How we doing, guys?
Doing all right.
Fantastic. Excellent.
All right. So today we're talking smokers.
Smokers, different ones, different kinds, all of them out there.
Well, what are your guys' favorite type of smokers?
Chris?
I can't say I have a favorite type of smoker yet, but I'll tell you the ones that I use. I got a Weber Smoky Mountain 18-inch, just a bullet type smoker. And I have an Oklahoma Joe Highland offset and a Weber Performer. Out of all those, I think they all have different jobs, and I think they have their own use. So, I mean, Weber Smoky Mountain, it's like my set it and forget it. If I'm doing a brisket and I want to go to sleep at night, I think it holds the temp, and I can trust it through the night. Your Oklahoma Joe, you're messing with it. It's more of it's a stick burner, so you're messing with it. Fire management comes into place, and you're constantly
Can't leave it alone.
No. It's a watcher, and the Weber Performer I actually picked up yesterday on Facebook Marketplace for $140, and I thought it was a steal. So I've only messed with that one once.
What'd you cook on it?
Last night I had mango habanero marinated chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs, and they were pretty good.
That sounds delicious.
I'm not going to lie, they're pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've never cooked on a small smoker. My first smoker was a Meadow Creek TS 250, which is a 2,000-pound trailer smoker, and comes with a 42-inch rotisserie charcoal grill. So I have never smoked on a small smoker, bullet, drum, offset. I've just used the big offset smoked Meadow Creek, and I'll say, I mean, I can put that thing at 225 and I can let it go, and I don't really have to watch it, every couple hours I can just check on it, but that thing stays at temp, like a baby. It's crazy. It does take a lot of wood and charcoal. I mean, I usually just, dump a full bag of charcoal in there and then, a bunch of logs of wood. But, I mean, that thing's beautiful. And then I have a Old Hickory CTO, which I had I kind of purchased because I wanted to get some sleep. So I do all the big meats on that. And that's it's a propane assisted or natural gas propane assisted wood smoker. But you can put charcoal in the basket and wood chunks, and then when the propane lights, then it goes to just charcoal and wood, so you're not 100% propane and, messing up the flavor if it does anything.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you were using that yesterday.
I was.
That was loaded. Us a picture of 21 pork butts.
Yes. That was
what was that all about?
We had an event for Boston Magazine last night, the Q in Boston, and it was, I'm pretty sure it's for charity, No Kid Hungry, and, they said we had to feed, give 1,000 samples, so we put on 21 pork butts, coleslaw, we made pulled pork tacos with a Carolina mustard sauce.
Nice.
And great event, went over well. I can't say enough about how fantastic just the staff and everybody was there.
Nice. Very good. Well, my first smoker was a Brinkman's bullet smoker. The typical, not enough room.
Yeah.
Doing one thing at a time. Then I upgraded to once again, you found your Weber yesterday on a deal.
Right.
I got my Oklahoma Joe's Highland offset for a deal at Walmart.
That's where I got mine.
For about $100.
Amazing deal.
Absolutely. They were just giving them away. I'll take one.
Right.
Nice.
And I love it. So much room, little difficult at the beginning trying to learn how to control the air and the flow and get the fire.
Yeah.
So with the dampers and the doors, but once it goes, it holds the temp great. Don't really have to worry about it too much. But today, we're going to go, how are you going to start? What's the best ones for a beginner?
Let me tell you something right now. This is the time of year that you need to be checking out your local Walmart, checking out Home Depot, Lowe's, because they are all going on sale. That's when about the time you picked yours up, right?
Yeah.
Same here. I mean, they drop in price significantly. I mean, down to, I think I saw, I kind of want one of these, but Oklahoma Joe Bandera, and I saw those for $80 around this last fall, and I think that'd be my next one if I got one. But
You're like a smoker collector.
my wife might kill me if I got another one. So.
Well, up here in the Northeast, they need to make you find those deals because they need to make room for the snowblowers.
Yes.
Because you never know when it's going to start flying around here.
Yep.
And that's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
So move the grills out, move the smokers out, move the snowblowers in.
Yep.
So if any of you guys out there are looking for one, check out those places. Keep your eye on it. Go to Walmart, go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, and you're going to get those deals in the next month or two.
And they can also have pretty good deals on charcoal and wood itself.
Oh, yeah, a lot of deals. Kingsford, the 2-for-1s, the Royal Oak lump. That's the charcoal I like to use, the lump. I don't really like briquettes only because, to me, you get more flavor in lump, and the mess afterwards. It's a lot less mess using lump than briquettes. So just a little fun fact out there.
Yeah, Mike actually turned me on to the Royal Oak lump charcoal, and I was always using Kingsford briquettes before, and I found it works great in my offset. But I've also found that using the Royal Oak lump charcoal in my bullet smoker, my Weber Smoky Mountain, it just too hot. It doesn't like it.
Yes, they do burn hotter.
It doesn't like. It's too small of a grill to say. It just don't like it. So keep that in mind.
And I will say. So I did make when we were first beginning and kind of messing around with stuff. I went out to a local company. I bought a drum, food grade drum, $50 with a cover, and I went to Big Papa's online, Big Papa's Smokers, got the kit. And me and my buddy Jeff actually made a drum smoker. Very easy, comes with directions. You just drill out the holes and, put the stuff in, whatever. But it was a great smoker. The only thing I didn't like about it, and the reason why I got rid of it, was because cleaning. I didn't like to clean it because I had to get all the way down, and now everything else is a mess.
You're messy Mike, though. What's the problem?
I know. Just with food, though.
And now the drum smoker, that works a lot just like the bullet smoker. Fuel source on the bottom, water pan, and then the smoking chamber.
Yep, you can. I mean, the drum smoker that I built, it didn't have a water pan in it. It just had a basket at the bottom, and you can move the basket up for direct cooking or down for indirect cooking and smoking.
Nice.
They do also have drum smokers that they come with like rebars, and you put them through the top. So now you can hang your ribs, you can hang sausages, stuff like that. I've never used one, but I'd love to see one in action and try out the food.
For someone new to smoking, I mean, is there one type of smoker that's easier to start with? Or?
Mike says buy the biggest one, most expensive one.
Yeah, go big or go home.
So
I really like. I haven't used it, but I've seen it, and the reason why I like it is because it's a small package, and it's almost like a Humphreys cabinet smoker, or I'd compare it to a Humphreys cabinet smoker, but it's a sweet swine of mine Redbox Smoker. I mean, it's very small.
It's like a mini fridge kind of a
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's double insulated, so it's going to hold temp really well. And it comes with a water pan. You fill it with charcoal, and that's basically a set it and forget it smoker. You can't fit a lot of stuff in it, but I'd say for the normal person or the beginner, I think that would be a great smoker to start with. It does run, I think it's like $399. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
What would you get in it? Maybe a brisket and a couple racks of ribs, something like that, or?
Yeah, I'd probably say a brisket or a couple racks of ribs.
Right. So you're picking one thing with that.
Yeah, one or two.
Yep.
And you also want to take in room as a point.
Yes, airflow is a big factor. I know with my Meadow Creek, the reason why you trim meats and, not just to get, the fat level down, but you also want to trim meats so it's aerodynamic in your smoker, so all the meats get hit with the same amount of smoke.
Yeah. Right, so you can't overcrowd it.
Correct. You need airflow.
I can't take your trailer smoker and park it in my front yard. I don't have enough room for it. But I can fit my Oklahoma Joe's, or you can start smaller on a Bullet. Mm-hmm. Start practicing.
Exactly.
If practicing is the right word.
Exactly. And what would you think would be the best meat to start out as a beginner?
As a beginner?
I'd say ribs. Ribs all day.
Ribs is the most popular. Every restaurant has a rib of some sort.
Correct.
Whether they're real and smoked and cooked, or they're obviously come frozen. But ribs, I'd say, even a chicken. Mm-hmm. Chicken doesn't take all that long. You get obviously the moisture content of the breast is a little tough to play with, but ribs of chicken for sure would be a starting meat. Then work your way up to, a pork loin or pork butt. Then work your way up to a brisket. A brisket is going to be time consuming.
Oh yeah, the brisket's the toughest.
A full pack brisket is anywhere from 13 hours up with ease.
Right.
That 18-pounder we did a couple weeks ago, 25-hour, 26-hour smoke on it. But a rack of ribs, a lot of people like that 3-2-1 method. 3 hours on, 2 hours wrapped, 1 hour with your, glaze, sauce, whatever you want to do to finish it up. Mm-hmm. So you have that window of 5-6 hours. I think a whole chicken takes maybe 3 hours, 3.5.
Yep.
So on the 3-2-1, do you have to adjust that depending on the kind of rib, like a baby back? Is that too much?
I think you can stick to pretty much any pork rib.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything you have to go by your thermometer and your temperature.
Right.
Once the internal temperature reaches that, the 160 mark, that's when I usually like to wrap and then put them back on. And, again, they say, roughly the 3-2-1 method. But it's all in your internal temperature, and every meat's different, every smoker's different. So definitely go by the temp, but try and use the 3-2-1 method if you want to for kind of a guide.
And a good thermometer.
And a good thermometer.
I use a Thermapen.
I have a Thermapen as well.
Cooking, I mean, it just works great. You get a quick read, and you can get precision with it, the way it tapers at the points.
Definitely. I don't leave home without it.
Yeah,
when you're in my truck right now.
I mean, they're not cheap. You can certainly buy cheaper.
But they're the last thermometer you'll probably, have to buy.
You definitely get what you pay for.
Correct.
But I think, that's totally important to follow there's rules in barbecue, and that's the biggest one is just internal temperatures. And once you get that down, that's how it's going to come out good.
Now, have anybody had any experience with I don't even know if I'm going to say it right, the Kamado grills or the ceramic grills, better known as the Big Green Egg?
I have a Big Green Egg. It's an XL, and truthfully, I've used it 3 times. To me, a lot of people love it, and it's a great smoker. I do it, and I'm used to go big or go home.
Yeah.
But it's great for grilling. I grill on it more than I have smoked on it. But I mean, it does hold temperature perfectly. That is a smoker that you can set it, go to bed, don't have to worry about it, wake up the next morning, and your temp might go down a little bit, but you're still right in the range.
Yeah. Now looking into them, I found out that it's really the first smoker, that type of setup.
The ceramic.
The ceramic. Yeah. Apparently they've had found ones like it over in the Far East that are over 3,000 years old.
Oh wow,
probably, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people doing like smoked pizzas on the ceramic, the Kamados and the green eggs and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, you can do cheesecake on the Big Green Eggs.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Pretty versatile smoker.
I saw a recipe for a smoked chocolate cake.
Oh, that would be good.
Jeez.
Yeah, we're going to have to give that a try at some point. You know, then we get into the electric smokers.
And we go back to if you're trying to get into the game of smoking. I think, electric smoker plays its purpose. If you want to just start out with an electric smoker and you want to just work on internal temperatures and stuff like that, get that down first before you're working with fire management and all that. Let the smoker do the work, and you just focus on working the internal temperatures. I think that it serves its purpose.
So for the electric, I've seen people say, the meat's only going to absorb so much smoke, so if you keep smoke on it for a couple of hours,
Just going to be over smoked.
Yeah,
Right.
So you don't really even need to keep feeding it. You just pay attention at the beginning, make sure that you've got enough wood in there in the electric smoker, and then you can just walk away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And electric smokers usually take like wood chips. The homeowner electric smokers, the charbroiler.
Right.
Those take wood chips, and some people say soak the wood chips. Some people don't soak the wood chips. Do you guys have a preference? Have you ever?
The first time I ever did was I didn't know what I was doing, so I Googled it. How do I do a Boston butt? And it gave, Google 8,000 different recipes and tips and techniques, and the majority of the ones I saw said, smoke the wood chips, then place them on top of the coals. So I did that the first time. The next couple times I didn't see a big difference at all. Did
they last longer when they were soaked, or did they burn up more quickly when they were dry?
I didn't really notice a difference on it.
Was that an electric smoker you're talking?
No, that was the. There goes the pen.
Throwing things.
That was the Brinkman's bullet smoker.
Okay, nice.
Couldn't tell the difference between the soaked and not.
Okay.
So as of right now, I just go straight. With the Oklahoma Joes, I have the chunks instead of the chips.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a dry chunk, couple chunks, and you just let it go. But nothing's worse than the over smoked. And that's another thing you need to practice with it. When do you stop feeding the wood into it and just go with a briquette or the lump, to keep your temperatures up and running.
Yeah, when I first started off smoking a while back, I used to soak my wood chips, and I really found that you get a real thick, dark, bittery smoke on them. You know what I mean? They smolder more, and you're going to get a thick smoke rather than a clean smoke. That took me. I didn't realize that for the longest time. I'm smoking stuff and just having dirty, dark gray smoke rolling out, thinking I'm doing the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah, and that makes perfect sense. You ever sit around at the fire pit with a bunch of people, and it rained the night before.
Right.
You're getting that
Smoke just in your
bellowing.
face.
You want that
smoke.
You want the light blue thin smoke. That's going to be your best
smell.
bet.
Yes.
That's the best one. That light smoke. Can't go wrong anytime.
What about wood chips? What are the favorites? I've always found mesquite is not to my taste at all.
That's a bold one.
It's very bold.
Mesquite and hickory are bold, bolder flavors. I tend to like apple. It's a milder smoke, good flavor, and I'm just used to it because that's what's native to this area.
Yeah.
So, I've been using a lot of apple. But the good thing is, if you are using a chip smoker or a chunk smoker, you can go to any local, barbecue shop, Ace Hardware, whatever, and you can grab chunks. So now you have a variety of flavors and not just, what you have, for logs that are accessible.
Yeah, last year I had, for I think my birthday, I had a couple Bass Pro Shop gift cards. And I went up there and they have an array from, mesquite, hickory, apple, maple, peach, cherry. So grab one of each and we'll just play.
Oh, yeah.
See which ones you like better with a pork product, which ones you like better with a beef product. And just it all comes down to preference. Your taste preference. That's what you're dealing with, is your taste profile.
Right on. I found the best thing that works for me is apple hickory combo. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. And speaking of apple, I got a big apple tree in my front yard that's about to come down this fall. So if anyone's looking for some wood, I might share.
And you have a brisket in the refrigerator, too.
I got to get that from you.
Yeah, so it's the best advice I can give to getting smoking is just get smoking.
Yeah, just start. Jump right into it and, test some cooks and mess up. Just have fun with it. That's what barbecue's about.
Find one that you have room to fit. Obviously, you don't want to put a monstrosity in your front yard or on your back deck or
right, like I
back
did.
patio,
Yep.
like you did. What you went and bought a smoker. Next thing you know, you got to buy a house to put it somewhere.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and got any of you guys or gals or anybody out there that's getting into smoking, if you guys have any questions, don't feel afraid to shoot us a message on our Pit Life BBQ podcast Facebook page, or we have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we have
so jump on there, ask us a question. We'll get back to you. Between the three of us, I think we're pretty responsive.
Yeah. I mean, John Ivory Jr., from Tennessee, he shot us a couple of pictures of, some Tennessee barbecue that he was doing, and we'd love to see that.
Baby back Sundays.
Baby back Sundays.
Yeah,
Hashtag.
they were beautiful.
Those were
Ed
some gorgeous
McAdoo.
ribs.
I mean, just keep sending us, be interactive. We want to talk to you guys, and we want to see what you guys are up to, see what you're doing. What are your favorite smokers out there? What's your favorite wood combination? That's what this is all about.
If they send pictures, we can actually capture them, so people who are viewing, we can get those up on the screen, get some viewers' pictures on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, like you had mentioned, Ed McAdoo. Ed, thank you very much for the kind words and your support in our little venture here. Getting it started, and we'll just go from there.
I have one question for the panel. Does anybody smoke any cured meats, like a pastrami or anything like that? Or?
I have done I've made pastrami out of a corned beef brisket.
Yeah.
And I had to soak it. This is the only one I've ever done, but I had to soak it overnight in water to get the salt content down from everything I read online. And it came out amazing. The only thing I can recommend with that is I sliced it with a knife. I would recommend getting a meat slicer like they have at the deli, so you can get the nice thin pastrami, because nobody likes a big thick slab of pastrami.
I don't know if you ever were in Montreal. They have their own creation called Montreal smoked meat.
Yep.
And that's sort of between a pastrami
and a brisket.
Yeah, yeah, but I made that once. Phenomenal, but not worth the trouble, because you got to get the pink salt, you got to cure it, and then it's almost like pickling spices that get used for the rub, but it was really good.
Awesome. Yeah, one just opened up in Denver and Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's called OFO, AUFEU, or I think it's FEU.
FU.
But yeah, he's doing he's doing barbecue, plus he's doing the Montreal smoked meats, and he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, Schwartz's is the famous one
yes,
up there.
I have. Yep.
Yeah.
And has anybody ever heard of this? I don't know if it's real. I caught it on.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
I caught it on Facebook, but it's a pressure smoker. The picture looks fantastic, but trying to do some research, I didn't really find much out about it. I saw an indoor pressure smoker, but if anybody has used a pressure smoker or have seen this pressure smoker, let us know.
Give us some feedback on that one.
Yeah.
I saw the same thing you did, and first time I seen it in my life.
It looks like a pot from a World War II plane.
Yeah.
And it's going for about $1,200.
And they're saying you can cook, turn hour-long cooks into
minutes.
couple minutes.
Minutes.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can have a rack of ribs in minutes, supposedly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I looked it up just like you guys, and I couldn't find anything or anybody who's actually used one.
But does that conform to the pit life? Aren't you supposed to hang around for a long smoke? And
Absolutely.
So if all of a sudden it happens in a few minutes, I don't know. Some of the fun goes
There's no
out
more
of it.
fun.
It takes the fun out of it, if you ask me. That's why I chose the smokers that I have. As far as pellet smokers, I've never used one. I don't know if you guys have, but
I've never used one.
there's a couple names out there: Traeger, Rectech, Pit Boss. I don't know if anyone heard of any other ones, but apparently, they can do some pretty good work for long cooks and some steady temperatures.
Well, they're good smokers. You plug them in, so they use electricity.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap at all.
Not at all.
And Yoder Smoky Mountain, they make a really nice one too. But you're plugging in and you're setting a temperature gauge, computerized, so it's perfect for the person that doesn't want to, be out there maintaining their pits, with an offset smoker or whatever. Just go in, put your meat on, set it, put your pellets in, and come back out when it's done. So the smokers, they're great, and there's a use for all types of smokers for all types of people.
Yeah.
Then you could really go old school and do it the way they did it then.
Emu?
No. Cement blocks. Cement blocks, piece of chain link fence,
Over the top of
couple sheets of aluminum metal roofing, and away you go. I saw that in...
it's like the Lakaja, the Chinese cooking box, the pig roaster.
Yeah.
You put the pigs in, you put the chocolates right on top of it, cooks itself, don't have to worry about it.
And they cook pretty fast in those.
They do, and they do a great job. Yeah.
Or you can also do it how they do it in Hawaii. Just dig a hole.
Bury it. Yeah.
Bury it.
That.
That's what I was talking, emu style, or I think it's emu style.
Emu style. Yeah, there's so many different types. That's the confusing part. And on today's episode, we wanted to go through some of them. Quickly, give the basis, what we think, but start with something. That's how you have to do it. You need to start. Because if you don't start, you're never going to know. So...
Yeah, and like we said before, this is the time of year. Get into those stores and start checking it out. You can pick one up cheap.
And also the weather's changing. It's going to eventually get cooler. Hopefully the humidity will drop down, which makes smoking a lot easier.
Hopefully it stops raining. It seems like every time I smoke, it rains.
I was gonna message you last night.
Every time.
I was coming home and the skies just opened up. And we were talking about this Sunday when you did when we were over at the house doing the beef ribs.
Oh yeah, the beef ribs.
And you had mentioned that every time lately you've been out smoking, doing a function, it has rained. It just stuck in my head that I knew you had that function last night with Boston Magazine, and the skies just opened. And I'm like, he's right. He's right. He's cursed.
I am.
So if you can stay on that side of the desk.
Well, I have a party Saturday and it's going to rain, so dead serious. It's crazy.
Well, that's it, guys. That is the second episode in the books.
So don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube. We're on iPod, iTunes, podcast, all that.
Podcast app.
And if you like the show, please share it on your social media.
Yes, share it. Leave us a review. 5 stars. Leave a review. Tell your friends. The more the merrier. We can have a lot of fun with this. And eventually we're going to set up a couple things, get a web address, and so we can take some listener comments, emails.
Take some emails.
Maybe have a couple
hopefully we can get some people to call up and have an interaction with them.
Yeah, it's harder to do call in than call out, but if you want to have
we can call out, hope they answer.
You got it.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
That's it. Keep the smoke rolling.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.